Hey everyone, I'm Maynard Okereke, the Hip Hop MD, and I'm so excited to welcome you to the 9th Annual National Astronaut Day, happening today, May 5th. This is a day to celebrate the explorers who dared to look beyond our skies and inspire us to do the same. Astronauts represent courage, curiosity, and the endless potential of the human spirit. And their work in space helps us solve real challenges right here on Earth, from new technologies to understanding our climate and health in powerful new ways. That's why STEM and STEAM education are so important, giving young minds the tools to think critically, dream boldly, and shape the future, not just in space, but in every part of life. Today, we're proud to honor a few incredible trailblazers as part of the Astronaut Rockstar Awards, including Krista McAuliffe, whose legacy as a teacher and STEM advocate continues to inspire generations of educators and students. Sunita Williams, known for her fearless achievements and resilient spirit. And Wendy Lawrence, whose commitment to STEM and STEAM outreach is empowering the next generation of explorers. Thank you to every astronaut for your bravery, dedication, and unwavering commitment to real science and space exploration. Your journey uplifts humanity and helps build a better world for us all. We salute you today and every day. Let's keep looking up and reaching forward. Happy National Astronaut Day.
If you are selected, what impact do you see this having on your life beyond the classroom?
Well, certainly it will change my life. I have been a classroom teacher for these years, but I've also been an adventurer, and I've always wanted to try something new, and certainly as a historian, to have the opportunity to embark on such an adventure, I certainly wouldn't be able to say no to.
The teacher who will be going into space, Krista McAuliffe. Is that you?
I've made 9 wonderful friends over the last 2 weeks. When that shuttle goes, they might be one body. But there's going to be 10 souls that I'm taking with me. This is Krista McAuliffe, live from the Challenger, and I'm going to be taking you through a field trip. It's hard for kids to realize that you can build something that's not attached to anything. But in zero gravity, you can do that, or in space, you can do that. So at that point, I wanted to be able to let it go.
All right. So far, what's been the most rigorous part of your training?
A lot of the training is not physically rigorous. Mentally it is, because you're trying to learn all of this information to get yourself ready to go on board the shuttle.
Commander Dick Scobie, followed by Mission Specialist Julie Resnick. Ron McNair, pilot Mike Smith, followed by Krista McAuliffe, teacher in space. Big smiles today, confidently getting into the van.
Hi, I'm retired NASA astronaut Dottie Metcalf Lindenberger. My educational path to becoming an astronaut began with 2 special teachers, my mom and dad. They both emphasized learning in the classroom and outside, and they stress that education sets a strong foundation for whatever you want to be. And I wanted to be an astronaut. Another teacher I paid attention to in 1985 was Krista McAuliffe. The Teacher in Space program excited thousands of kids like me. On January 28, 1986, I was a 5th grader waiting to watch her fly with the Challenger crew. While that day ended tragically, her legacy lives on. The families of the Challenger crew went on to create Challenger Centers. I currently have the privilege to serve on a board for this nonprofit, where over the past 39 years, we've inspired over 6 million students using hands-on experiences in STEM. Additionally, my colleagues, astronauts Joe Acaba and Ricky Arnold, went on to teach Krista's lessons on board the International Space Station. Therefore, in a modification of her own words, she continues to touch the future because she taught. Thank you, educators.
Hey everybody, it's me, Astro Clay, the ordinary spaceman and your Oracle of Outer Space. Did you know May the 5th is National Astronaut Day? Who knew? Now you do. And an important theme for astronauts is education. A strong, solid education is needed by everyone, especially astronauts. But the key here is that you have to work hard. You have to learn and be a constant, lifelong learner. I mean, look behind me. There are books everywhere. Read. The need to read is key to having a great education. So, put your nose to the grindstone, do the right thing, do good work, and get educated. It's key for a successful life. See ya.
Hello everyone, NASA astronaut Leroy Chow here, wishing you a happy National Astronaut Day. This day and holiday commemorates May 5th, 1961, when Alan Shepard became the very first American to fly into space. This year's celebration, we are honoring Krista McAuliffe, who tragically lost her life along with her 6 crewmates in the Challenger accident. Krista, of course, was a teacher, and of course that's something that's very near and dear to the hearts of all astronauts. We all studied a lot of STEM. There's particular teachers that we all remember. For me, my very first crush in life was my first grade teacher, Miss Link, and I remember her like it was yesterday. And in high school, I had 2 math teachers, Mrs. Miller and Mrs. Shackelford, who prepared me very well for my career in university and getting my engineering degrees. So this year, we'd like to go ahead and honor all of the teachers out there, not just the STEM teachers, but your job is one of the most important ones ever, teaching our young people. So to you, cheers to you and happy National Astronauts Day.
Hi, my name's Wendy Lawrence. I'm a former NASA astronaut. It was my childhood dream to become an astronaut. And as I prepared for my very first space shuttle launch, I thought about the teachers that had a significant impact on me and the teachers who made the pursuit of that dream possible. One was my high school AP English teacher. Another was my high school physics teacher, and one was an instructor I had at the United States Naval Academy. And I thought about how can I thank them for helping me pursue this dream. And I couldn't come up with a better way than to write each and every one of them a personal letter, and I invited them to my first space shuttle launch. Teachers have a profound impact on us. I think each and every one of us has a favorite teacher that we remember. I think for many people associated with the space program, the teacher's name who comes to mind is Krista McAuliffe, selected as the first teacher to go to space. Her legacy lives on, and I'm proud to see that she is being honored for that legacy this year.
Hello, I'm former NASA astronaut Gary Reisman, and I want to talk to you a little bit about teachers. So, all of us that became astronauts, none of us would have made it to the launch pad if it weren't for having some really good mentors and, most importantly, teachers who supported us along the way. For me, I think the 2 most influential ones I could think of are my high school physics teacher, Jerry Vandervoort, and my high school wrestling coach, Gary Vittorio. Mr. Vandervoort ran a tight ship in his physics classroom. He was tough, and so was Gary Vittorio. They both, interesting enough, were very demanding. And I think both of them had higher expectations for ourselves than we had for ourselves. They knew what our potential might be and really wanted us to realize that potential. What I learned in Mr. Vandervoort's physics classroom in high school served me all the way through college. And what I learned from my wrestling coach, Gary Vittorio, in high school also taught me all I needed to know about teamwork, leadership, and dedication and drive that carried me really through my whole career. Without those 2 great teachers, I never would be here right now wearing this jacket. Now, I didn't know Krista McAuliffe, but I did know Barb Morgan quite well. And Barb told us a lot about Krista. And, Barb carried on Krista's legacy in getting NASA to continue the Teacher in Space program. And I'm really glad they did, because NASA also recognizes what we all say, which is that without a lot of really great people along the way, none of this would be possible. So to all my teachers, but especially to Mr. Vandervoort and Mr. Vittorio, thank you.
Exploration is curiosity. It's asking the question why. It's taking that next step. Every time we do something for the first time, we're expanding our knowledge. Time on the International Space Station is priceless. People always ask, do you get bored, or, is it terrible being up there for a long period of time? And for me, I loved every minute. There was always something to do. You wake up, you look at your timeline like, wow, I got to do this experiment today. I got to get ready for a spacewalk. Every day was different. And just life on the space station becomes routine, which is sort of crazy to think about it. At one point in time on my first mission, I was like, I don't even remember really what it's like to walk. I've been flying around for so long. I don't even know what it's like to sit down.
We are somewhere over the Pacific Ocean about to cross the equator, but one of us at least thinks she's in Boston, and that is flight engineer Sunny Williams, who grew up in Needham, Massachusetts, and ran her first Boston Marathon when she was 16 or 17. Anyway, you can see what she's got working here. There's her number from the race. That's an official number, 14,000.
How many hours have you engaged in spacewalks, Sunny Williams?
I've been really lucky. On my first flight, we were putting together this amazing space station. So that construction work, as I call it, was 4 spacewalks, and my second flight was a little later, and a couple things broke outside, so we had to go out and do some repairs. So I've had 7 spacewalks, about 50 hours of spacewalking.
Hi there. My name is Michael Lopez Alegria. I'm a former NASA astronaut now with Axiom Space. During my time at NASA, I had the privilege of spending about 4 months on the International Space Station with Sunny Williams. I can tell you she was a wonderful crewmate, but I do have some stories to tell. Now, I'm not going to tell you the good stories because as astronauts we have this concept called mutually assured destruction, and I would like to avoid that at all costs. But there were a couple of times that I remember, like when we played April Fools pretending that Sunny had had a heart attack while training for the Boston Marathon on the treadmill, like the time when we did a checkout of a piece of equipment that didn't quite go as planned, and after we sent the video of the event down to the ground for analysis, we realized that Sunny had thrown the F-bomb about 15 times. And the time that we threw out the first pitch together at Fenway Park against the Yankees, and after we did, they had no seats for us. We were standing room only. Anyway, Sunny's a wonderful crewmate. She embodies the humor, the getting along, the fun-loving, lighthearted touch, but she's also a very serious and hardworking performer, and I love her to death. Happy Astronauts Day.
Hello, I'm former NASA astronaut Garrett Reisman, and I was selected as an astronaut back in 1998. And one of my classmates was a certain Sonny Williams. And I'm laughing here because I've been asked to share with you some personal experiences or stories about Sonny. And really, I got lots of them, but she's just a lot of fun. She's up for anything. We had so many good times together. I could tell you about the time when we were on land survival training, and no, I can't really tell you about that. I could tell you about the time that we were on a class trip to Virginia, and we're on the rooftop of this house, and nah, can't really tell you about that. Maybe I could tell you about the time when we were in Russia, and we were in downtown Moscow, and no, I can't tell you about that either. Let's just suffice it to say that there are very few people who I'd rather be stuck and stranded on the space station for 9 months with, other than Sonny. I mean, not stranded. She was not stranded. She could come home anytime. I'm sorry, not stranded. But she is incredibly competent. You can count on her to get the job done. You never have to look over your shoulder and wonder what she's doing. She is just super fun and a really good friend. So congratulations, Sonny, and hope to hang out again soon.
Hi, my name's Wendy Lawrence. I'm a former NASA astronaut, and I had the opportunity to fly on the space shuttle 4 times. And I want to congratulate Sonny on getting the Astronaut Rockstar Award. She absolutely deserves it. Sonny and I have done a lot of the same things. We both went to the Naval Academy. We both flew helicopters in the Navy. But Sonny, she's just an amazing individual. I don't know of many people who could go from an 8-day mission to an 8+ month mission and still smile about it. And I think that's what makes Sonny so awesome. She just took that all in stride, incredibly positive attitude, mission first, and it was a thrill to see her do so well on orbit. So Sonny, you deserve this. I'm Captain Wendy Lawrence. I served in the Navy for 25 years, first as a helicopter pilot and then as a NASA astronaut. I'm third generation Navy. My maternal grandfather and my father were also career naval aviators. And growing up, I watched them live by the principles that the Navy had instilled in them. So I decided that I too wanted to serve my country in uniform. and I followed my grandfather and my father to the Naval Academy, graduating in the second class with women. And yes, it was really challenging to be a woman at the Academy back then. As a former astronaut, you might think the most terrifying thing I've done is ride a rocket to space. Actually, it was landing my helicopter on the back of a ship at night. And here's what I learned from that scary experience. It's okay to be afraid, but don't let that fear control you. There are going to be times in your life where you have to deal with people who doubt that you have the ability to succeed. But you don't have to listen to them, and you don't have to believe them. That's your choice.
Hello, my name is Evelyn Weber. I'm a junior at Sioux Area High School and Career Center in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, and I'm interested in pursuing a STEM career in the future. I met Wendy when I went to Florida last year to see my experiment launch at our pre-launch dinner. Me and my team, Team Space Shuttle 6, got to meet her and talk with her, and she shared her knowledge of previous launches, and it was really insightful. Her presence in the STEM field is truly inspiring. As a young woman who plans to have a career in the STEM field one day, I am so grateful that she has been a role model to me, and she definitely deserves this award.
Hi, I'm Rain Dickinson. I'm a junior at North Hills Senior High School. I'm interested in how we can further space exploration using materials engineering. I'm here to congratulate astronaut Wendy Lawrence for being the 2025 Astronaut Rockstar Gold Award recipient. She taught us so much about her experiences, and it was inspiring to hear the first-hand story of someone breaking down walls.
Hello, my name is Andrew Craig, and I'm a junior from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I want to congratulate astronaut Wendy Lawrence for receiving the Astronaut Rockstar Gold Award. I met Wendy at Go for Launch Mars, which is a pretty cool place to have it. Who knows? Maybe one day, one of us will get to go to Mars. Wendy was the astronaut speaker at the event, and she was truly inspiring. I was captivated by her stories about spaceflight, the Navy, and on the ground. I think it's awesome that she was one of the first female helicopter pilots in the Navy. I really appreciate that Wendy was willing to sit down with me for lunch and talk about the Navy in college, which is very helpful because I'm considering Navy ROTC. I found her stories about missions to Mir particularly interesting and was inspired by her bravery to go to the International Space Station following the Columbia disaster. Wendy was also able to bring comedy to education. I loved her stories about her Too Short nickname and Russia's cold. Wendy is an inspiring astronaut and an empowering educator. Wendy deserves the Gold Award because she has inspired me to love space and love learning even more. Thank you, Wendy.
Hi, I'm Valentina Guillen, an undergraduate student of aerospace engineering at the Florida Institute of Technology. And just like astronaut Wendy Lawrence, I am fueled by the same type of rocket fuel, coffee. So I met Wendy through higher orbits, and I was beyond excited to meet her, but out of all the things I could have asked a real-life astronaut, the first thing that came out of my mouth was, "So what does coffee taste like in space?" She smiled and answered like it was the most normal thing in the world, which is when we instantly connected over a shared love for coffee. She even signed my space shuttle cup, which now sits in a shelf in my room as a tiny launch pad for inspiration, if you will. Wendy's achievements, being one of the first female helicopter pilots in the US Navy, conducting 4 space shuttle missions, and contributing to building the ISS that we know now, they're legendary, but I think it's mostly her warmth, her humility, and her belief in the next generation that's made the biggest impact on my life. Now, Wendy's not just an astronaut, she is a leader, a trailblazer, and a role model that's taught me and thousands of other people that there's space for all of us among the stars. Wendy, you are truly an astronaut rock star, and congratulations on winning the Gold Award.